Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this evening's call. I want to first and foremost thank you. If you were invited by a friend, family member, or someone who cares about you, you want to thank them, particularly after you hear the information that could be shared with you this evening. We're going to get started shortly. Just want to give our guests and our partners time to invite others on, so we will be getting started momentarily. But I do want to thank you again for taking out the time. You've been invited to hear about a new technology. This new technology is life-changing. Those of you who may be familiar with stem cell technology, you have heard of stem cells. Again, you're going to be in for a treat tonight. So you're going to learn so much more about a new technology. Before I get started, though, I'd like to also introduce myself. A lot of times when you invited to a Zoom or presentation, you want to know, well, who's the speaker, what they're about. And so my name is Derek Hawkins. I am your host and presenter tonight. I'm actually a man of faith and humility and integrity. I'm a husband, father, and a grandfather. In fact, that's my beautiful granddaughter at the bottom of the screen, waving hello to all of you. I'm a deacon and I'm a men's ministry leader at my house of worship. I'm also a retired engineer and project manager. I've worked for 36 and a half years for the largest transportation agency in the tri-state New York, New Jersey, Connecticut region, known as the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. I managed multi-million-dollar contracts while there. I'm a Division I college basketball player. I played basketball for probably most of my life until I was about 60 when I got injured. I was still playing at a high level. I'm also an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur. Even while I was working at the Port Authority, I had a nice salary, retired with a nice salary. However, when you work for a living, you only make so much money per hour, and the company only pays you so much per hour, and you only work so many hours in a day. So you can make a nice living, you can live well, but you will not create wealth if you're working and you're exchanging time for money. So I've always had a pursuit for entrepreneurship outside of my regular work. As many of you may have, we call it side hustles. I'm an Ivy League graduate. I actually graduated from Columbia University while Barack Obama was a student there. In fact, before he went on to Princeton Law School, he was a student at Columbia University, undergrad as well. So again, I went to an Ivy League institution. I'm a health and wellness advocate. I've always advocated for wealth. Part of it is because I played sports at a high level. And when you play sports at a high level, your health and being in shape is a big thing for you. So that's what I did. Again, I'm also an author, speaker, training coach. I'm a distinguished Toastmaster. If you're not familiar with Toastmasters, it's an international organization where you learn how to improve and overcome your fear of speaking, but also you learn leadership skills at the same time. So I learned a lot about leadership and managing and organizations and businesses. I'm an honorary doctorate in humanitarianism, which I just received in July. And I am what's called a LiveWave brand partner. You know what that means by the end of the presentation. But those pictures you see on the screen represent what is important to me: family, faith, and fun. And that is why I do what I do. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting with the first screen, my question to you, particularly if you are a guest for the first time, is have you been patched yet? And when I actually have been patched, what you see on the screen, young lady is wearing a patch on her arm. It's about the size of a quarter. If you can see it, again, this is what it looks like. It looks about the size of a quarter, and you wear it on your body, and it does some amazing things. It helps elevate, activate, and regenerate your stem cells. And why is that important? Because again, as we age at a faster pace than normal because of what's happening in our waters, in our air, in our land. As I say, we're being attacked by land, air, and sea. Again, it's not normal, but we are used to seeing people with wheelchairs, canes, walkers. People are walking around with sciatica and pain, and it just become a way of life, and people are doing that at early ages. But again, there are some people who live to 90s and even into the hundreds without ever having stepped into a hospital, without having any major issues. And again, one of the reasons that we age as fast as we do is because the fewer stem cells you have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And that is demonstrated when you think about it as a young child. When I used to play around and I was a daring young kid jumping out of trees, doing things that were just dangerous, when I think about it. But I would get a scratch, I would get a bruise, I would break a leg or arm. However, I would heal very quickly because I had my stem cells were intact. But what happens as we start to age? Hundreds of millions of people experience what we call the symptoms of aging. And that is by the time we turn 30, only one half of our stem cells are active. And by the time we're 60, almost all of our stem cell activity is dormant. That is why if I got the same injuries that I got, 60 years ago, if I get a scratch today, or if I get a cut or a bruise, or if you get the same thing, that becomes a permanent and what I call annoyance in your life. Again, scratches or bruises become long-term scars. Break is if you break a leg, you kind of just never, you never walk the same again. All the things that happen to you as you get older are more debilitating because our stem cells are just not active. So we are fortunate, and we're going to share with you today a technology that helps you improve and reverse this, what we call the symptoms of aging. And I'm going to talk about the gentleman who created it. Is a gentleman and a scientist. His name is David Schmidt. David Schmidt is the inventor of what we call an X39 patch. He has over 130 patents. He's a scientist and an inventor. He specializes in age reversing. And again, this is not his first rodeo when it comes to inventions. In fact, 20 years ago, he was actually hired and contracted by the U.S. government, in particular the Navy SEALs. They hired him because they wanted to develop a patch, not necessarily a patch, but they wanted to develop a technology, something that the Navy SEALs could use that will allow them to stay alert for 30 minutes, for 30 hours or longer without having what you call a crash. You know what happens when you eat a candy bar or you have one of those energy drinks, or if you drink coffee, it alerts you for a short period of time, but then you have a crash and you fall asleep. So they didn't want anything that was in what they call that they had to inject, that you had to ingest. They wanted something again that wouldn't harm you. Again, that had no effects, had no side effects. Again, and he came up with his first patch, and again, that's where he got his start. This is his 20th anniversary. In fact, this month is his 20th anniversary of developing such technology. But in 2008, David Smith, he focused his attention on something called stem cell research. And again, it's got his attention because some of you may remember Dave Reeves. Dave Reeves used to play Superman. He was one of the first to play Superman in the movie. He became paralyzed, and there was some controversy surrounding whether or not he should try stem cell technology. There was a lot of controversy about stem cells because a lot of stem cell comes from aborted fetus and other areas. So there was a lot of controversy about it, whether it would work, and it was taken from other people or harvested and bought and used with other people. So there's been a lot of studies on stem cells since then. And again, but in 2008, he focused his attention on his research, and he spent about 10 years before he discovered this X39 stem cell patch. It cost him $4.5 million and to bring it to market. So just think about it. Out of the 130 patents that he has, about 70 of them are committed and dedicated to age reversing technologies. And rather than me explain to you how this patch works, I want to show you a 3-minute video. Now, this video is you're gonna hear from David Schmidt. He was at a conference with thousands of people. In that conference, he actually explained to them how stem cell technology works. And again, in attendance were doctors, lawyers, housewives, school teachers, coaches, students, you name it. There were so many different people in this event that he shared this technology with. And ever since then, we've been on a tremendous ride. So I'm going to play this 3-minute video. On the other side of that video, I'm going to break it down even further. So even someone who's just learning in kindergarten can understand how it works when I explain to you exactly how this patch works. So if you got a pen and pad, if you want to take some notes, I want you to jot down some of the things that you hear in this video that will stand out for you. They did for me. And after that 3-minute video, I'm going to come back and I'm going to actually share with you and explain to you even further how this tremendous patch works and how it could work for you.
Please share with us how the amazing X39 technology works. We got a lot of brand partners that are brand new, so they really want to hear from you. And then we got some highly sophisticated, educated doctors in the room. So kind of relate to all of them on how this technology works.
Yeah. So the first thing to understand, I suppose, is that our bodies are based on light as a form of communication. We have a bioelectrical system in our body, which is all based on math and geometry. And if we can understand what this biological code is, we can do some really remarkable things with it. So the current direction of my research is looking at species that are immortal and looking at codes, the mathematical codes that we find in the Bible and mathematical codes that we find in nature, which I now think of as being God's fingerprint. And we can use this information to support the body's natural healing systems in ways that haven't been available before. So with the patches, which is one of many different technologies that we'll come out with. I know we'll probably talk a little bit about what's in store for the future, which is incredibly exciting. But on the patches, because this is our foundational technology and our foundational products, they stimulate the skin with a blend of different wavelengths of light that are modulated to contain information. So what does this mean? If we think of laser communications, which have been around for many, many decades now, and that's how fiber optics work. We're going to take a laser, we modulate the light to contain information, and then at the receiving end, that light is unpacked and decoded, and now we can hear voice or see video. So the human body essentially works the same way, meaning that light is emitted from the cells. And actually, how light is emitted from the cells is an incredibly fascinating subject, because it's coming from the DNA and the hydrogen bonds in the DNA. And that light emission has actually come from the spiritual realm, you might say. But what this all means is that in the thousands and thousands of different biochemical reactions that are occurring at any one time, there are pulses of coherent laser-like light that is emitted from the DNA, emitted from the cells, and this orchestrates and initiates the changing biochemical environment in the cell. So what this means is that now, through normal course of aging, our glutathione or our copper peptide levels would decrease. But if we know the code where we can stimulate the skin and communicate with the body and say, hey, I'd like to increase those copper peptide levels, and I want to improve the activity of the stem cells in the body. If we know that code, then it's nothing more complicated than stimulating the skin with those wavelengths of light to instruct the cells to elevate the copper peptide. And the exciting thing is that that's only the beginning. What we can do with light-based technology is nothing short of extraordinary.
Wow, I don't know about you, but some of the things that I heard when I first heard David explain it was biological things that happen naturally as well as in science. He talked about the God's fingerprint being on it. He talked about biological codes. And just to explain how it works, if you think about vitamin D, the way we get vitamin D is we go out in the sun, and it's not that we get vitamin D, I'm sorry, from the sun. What happens is there's certain wavelengths of light from the sun that activates the vitamin D that is already in our body, because God has created our bodies to heal itself. Again, if we take care of our bodies will take care of us. But again, if you think about it, that is how vitamin D is activated in our bodies. It's not coming from the sun. It's something that's internal. So when he figured that out, he realized that if he could figure out a way to activate your stem cells, it would change our lives. Now, David Schmidt wasn't the first person who thought about this technology, because back in 1973, there was a scientist named Laurent Picard. Now, Laurent Picard was a PhD, and when he was 5 years old, his grandmother had cancer, and he was so terrified by the result of his grandmother dying at an early age in her 50s, that he actually proclaimed, and he told his mother, he said, listen, at 5 years old, he told his mother, I'm going to find a cure for cancer. He spent his life trying to figure it out. Now, he did not discover a cure for cancer, but what he did discover, he discovered the copper peptide that David Schmidt referenced in his in the 3-minute bit I just showed you. And what he found out, and what he basically discovered is that if you can figure out a way to activate the copper peptides in your body, it will stimulate and activate and reactivate those dormant stem cells that are sitting around in our bodies. And so he took that information, ran with it. And again, here's the irony in all of this discovery. If you listen to David Schmidt, and if you couldn't tell, he's a man of faith. He's the owner of the company, but he's also the inventor. He talks about God. He talks about the spiritual realm. He talks about things that our body has already been given and designed to do. But also, Laurent Picard is a man of faith, because he came from a family of 15 pastor ministers. And when he couldn't figure out how to create a cure for cancer, what he did do is he started looking for ways to cure the body. And so what he did was, and I'll just read part of the quote, he said, so I did what our family's ministers always recommended, and I prayed to God to lead me to a new miraculous health molecule. And guess what that molecule was? The copper peptide that David has actually spent 10 years developing into this X39 patch. Now, when you think about it, I said there's irony that both of these gentlemen are men of faith. Both of them spent their lifetimes trying to figure out a way to help heal people. But I don't believe it's irony. I think it's destiny. I think it was meant to happen this way. And we are fortunate to be in a position in a company led by men of faith who's taking advantage of this opportunity. So again, that's how it works. But let's talk about the facts behind what I'm talking about. I'm not just sharing this with you to say that it might work, it could work, it does work. There's proof that it does work. It's been proven because he has patents. And one of the patents, which you can see on the screen, if you want to take down a number, it talks about this peptide, it talks about this technology. Now I'm just going to read what it says. It said embodiments as a result of elevating a copper peptide includes activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants. So all these different things are happening while using this technology. So again, this is factual. And again, here's the thing about patents. You cannot get a patent for something that doesn't work. Let me repeat that. You cannot get a patent for something that does not work. So it does work. It's proven its work hundreds and thousands of times throughout the world. The company's been around for 20 years. This patch has been around for about 3 years. Now, how does the X39 patch works is simple. It's a proprietary form of phototherapy. What that means is there is a patent, and those who have an opportunity to be partners and brand partners with LiveWave can market and sell these patches. But it's exclusive. There's another approximately 17 years left to have that exclusivity to market this form of phototherapy. It's a patented nanocrystal technology. Nano simply means small, crystal means these technologies include these what we call light therapy, nanocrystals, small crystals. And again, what these crystals do, they reflect light at a certain frequency, just like the sun reflects light at a certain frequency. And when it does, that light that it reflects back inward to our bodies, it activates our copper peptides. And if you activate your copper peptides, as David Schmidt has discovered, as well as Lauren Picard, you will reactivate those dormant stem cells. And when the stem cells are working and active, guess what? All the things, challenges that we have start to be taken care of because the body heals itself. Again, LiveWave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure or prevent or any disease or medical condition, but it does activate the copper peptides, and then your body does the rest. Again, it's non-transdermal, which means it doesn't penetrate the skin. There's no drugs or chemicals or stimulants. It's like what I call the pharmaceutical cartels want you to buy pharmaceutical needs and drugs that have side effects. I mean, sometimes I'm shocked to hear a commercial when they talk about the side effects of a product that says one of the side effects is actually death. But people will risk their lives. And again, we are in a position where we don't have to worry about those things. It's non-invasive. So again, that is how the patch works. Very simple. Phototherapy is not new. Go back thousands of years and you will find that they use different colors of glass to try to create, heal, and do all kinds of things. I can even remember when I was a child, I was a curious child. I had my little microscope, not microscope, I had my magnifying glass, and I would go outside and I would actually get a leaf and I would see if I could burn a hole in a leaf. And if I held that magnifying glass at a certain distance and I was steady, it would take the light from the sun and it would literally burn a hole in the leaf. That's the power of phototherapy. Again, just to give you an idea, the power of phototherapy is nothing new. It's just that you can figure out how to work it for your advantage, and that's what David Schmidt did. Let's talk about the benefits. Now, the benefits that you see are exactly the same benefits that Lauren Picard discovered when he actually identified or discovered, I should say, the copper peptide. So again, increase your strength, reduce inflammation, increase your stamina, energy, and vitality. Mental clarity is amazing. In fact, I'm going to share with you a brain scan of a 77-year-old woman whose mental clarity cleared up in 6 weeks from the start of using the patches. It restores your muscle and skeletal conditions, particularly if you're someone who works out. You recover from your workouts quicker, improvement of sleep, improvement of skin appearance. I've experienced more than half of these benefits that you see here. Some of you will have the same. Some may take longer, some may see it immediately, but the bottom line is it does work. You have to, again, some works more quickly and some take a little bit of time, but know this, that when it is working through your body. Again, you can achieve optimal health and wellness, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being by using this X39 patch. Let's talk about the long-term results of it. Again, in your first few days, you will experience what they call 4,000 genes begin to reset. Now, you're not always going to feel your genes being reset, but the fact that they're being reset, that means there's something happening in your body and you may not feel it right away. But let me give you an example of the benefits of having your genes reset. There were studies done that said if you drink enough red wine, that your body will reset 2 of your genes, just 2. However, this patch regenerates and activates and resets 4,000 of your genes in the first few days. And that's why you're going to hear some testimonies about some people who notice some changes immediately. Some take longer, but the bottom line is it is working for your benefit. Now, within 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced. Like I said, I'm going to share with you not only a scan, it's going to be a proof that it does work. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. How important is that? For those of you like me who are the athlete, those who may have worked and stood on your feet or just worked in lines of work which required a lot of labor and hard work, your joints begin to wear and tear. And so it's the importance of collagen is important because, again, you get that cushion, that support that you need between your joints. Your skin, as we age, our skin thins out or wrinkles, it gets discolored, spots and everything. So imagine your skin getting more tight and you're starting to have a youthful appearance. Those things are happening. We have thousands of testimonies where people have experienced these benefits. And within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. They say you should wear the patch for every decade of life. You should wear at a minimum the patch for a month for every for every decade. So if you're 60, for example, you should wear it for no less than 6 weeks, and you will see the reversal of your age, the heart of your age. And that's proven when people go to their doctors after wearing a patch, they notice and their doctors say your heart has improved, your heart is younger, again, your heart age, and this is based on measurements and facts. It's not anti-aging, it's age reversing, and that is a direct quote and comment from David Smith himself, the CEO and inventor of this patch. Here's the brain scan I was talking about. We call it a topography map. This is actually a 77-year-old woman. And what she did was she placed the X39 on the back of her neck. And in session 1, which is in the far left, you see the reddish orange area. That represents inflammation in the brain. That represents lack of brain coherence. In 3 weeks, she came back again after wearing the patch daily. And you start to see that all the reddish areas have gone. There's no more inflammation. There's improved brain coherence. And if you look at session number 3, which was in 6 weeks on the X39, it's a complete turnaround, better brain coherence. You see the yellows and the greens, that represents calmness. Again, now, even though this is a scan of the brain, it's still a scan of the stem cells as well. So this is happening in the brain, but it could be happening in your heart, your liver, your bone structure, your eyes, your lung. And so it can work, and it's working throughout your body. Now, some people will notice an immediate reaction because there's some things that are more obvious than others. Again, sleeping better, you have more energy, the pain relieves, those things go away. So those things can be obvious. Some things take a little longer, but the bottom line is you need to wear it consistently over time, and you need to drink plenty of water when you do, because that helps you with the use of the patch. Now, how do you wear the patch? Very simply, you wear this patch for 12 hours on, and you take it off and you wear it for 12 hours off. For example, if you put it on at 8 o'clock in the morning, take it off at 8 o'clock at night, discard the patch, and then you let your body repair and rejuvenate. And then you get up the next day and you do the same thing. You just repeat it. And then again, you do this over and over again. You can wear more than one patch at a time. Again, and you want to drink plenty of water while you're wearing the patch. And again, it's important to drink plenty of water, not just because of the benefit it adds to the use of the patch. It is because drinking water helps your body in a lot of ways. In fact, if more people drank more water, particularly water with minerals in it, or water that's better for your body, what would happen is you would have less pain. You would have a lot of issues would be going away, because water causes movement, and movement moves things around, particularly things that are painful. And that is why when you go into an emergency room, one of the first things they do when they roll you into that hospital is they hydrate you, because most people in the country, particularly the US, just do not drink enough water. I had to be intentional about drinking water, because as an athlete, I would only drink water when I actually felt thirsty. However, you need to drink water consistently throughout the day. If you drink a little bit at a time during the day, it would help your body and your health so much more. So that in combination with wearing the patch, you will see some incredible results. So keep that in mind. Now, X39 sounds so sophisticated, yet simple to explain. You wear this patch, it reflects light back inward into your body. When it does that, it activates your copper peptide. If you can activate your copper peptides, that was discovered way back in 1973 by Lauren Picard, it will activate your dormant stem cells. And the best thing about X39, it absolutely works. Again, that's why they have a patent. You cannot get a patent for something that does not work. Keep that in mind. Now, for those of you who want more information, you want to do a deep dive, don't do what I call a lazy Google search. And for LiveWave, you can just go to our site. We developed a site with all the information about the company. There's videos on it by David Schmidt, who developed and created the patch. So who better to talk about how it was developed than the person who actually created the patch? This is it, info.com. You learned about, there's testimonies on it. There's testimonies from doctors. The case studies are there. Anything that you need to know about LiveWave, you will find on this site. Again, so any question you have, make sure you jot that down and visit our site for more information. Now I'm going to shift gears a little bit. I'm going to share with you some testimonies. The testimony I'm going to share with you, one is going to be visual, other one's going to be audio, but these testimonies are for people who have used the patch. They're going to share in their own words what the benefits are for them. So listen very closely. I'm going to share the testimonies, and after the testimonies, we're going to come back on the other side. For those of you who have any interest at all in generating a second income outside of improving your health and your wealth, I'm going to talk briefly about the company, where they are, and how you can actually participate and benefit from LiveWave. So let's listen to these testimonies, and I will see you in the other side.
Turning 60 here in a couple of months. I know I don't look it, but I'm turning 60, and the body really has taken a toll. And I just had my 18th surgery last December on my shoulder repair. I had 17 on my neck and my lower lumbar. The last back surgery I had last year was they put 2 rods in my back. So I've got a neural stimulator, wires running up to my neck. I look like a Terminator on the inside. So I was waking up. I was in pain every day, and I didn't for years, since 1998 actually. And then so didn't know what it felt like to be out of pain. And I tried everything. I've done everything from top hospitals, from Johns Hopkins to down in Orlando, Florida, and Tampa, Florida hospitals, and doctors and everything. And I tried about everything, acupuncture, you name it, and still experiencing pain. And because I've been in Iraq and the things that I did, dealt hard with PTSD. And so my sleep over the years have been very poor. When I say poor, on an average of 3 hours a night. 4 hours was a good night, where either the pain or reoccurring nightmare. And this is going on for over a decade. So a few weeks ago, a pastor told me about the patches. And when he mentioned it, Bishop Larry Jackson, when he mentioned it, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Just send it. When he told me about the stem cells, I've heard about that, read about that prior. And so he called Miss Gwen and got the patches to me about 2 weeks ago. And I put got an example of the X39, 49, and the Ocean Wave. I think that's what it is, Ocean Wave. So either way, I took a patch because I was really hurting that night and put it on my lumbar. And this is no joke. 30 seconds after putting that patch on, within 30 seconds, I was feeling no pain. I mean, I'm moving my hips around, like I had a hula hoop on, just trying to make the pain happen, and there was no pain, and I couldn't believe it, and then, but it was true, and slept fine. So ever since these last 2 weeks, and I keep a record on my phone. I have an app for my sleep and how many hours, you know, what's my REM sleep and so forth, how much restful sleep. Prior to these patches, my average time was between an hour and 50 minutes and 3 hours and 33 minutes of getting sleep per night. Since I've had the patches, I'm getting 7 and 8 hours a night. But PTSD, as far as the nightmares, I haven't had one nightmare in the last 2 weeks. So this patch is amazing. So amazing that my wife, who's an RN for 34 years, she's been dealing with nerve pain in her leg. She uses it and it's helped her tremendously. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it because it's true.
Worst on record case of childhood abuse, and they show Long Island in the 1970s. Two of my twin brothers, they weren't my twin, they were twins with each other, they perished, and myself and some other siblings survived and became scattered. As a result, the abuse I sustained, a lot of the abuse that came from pool sticks, it caused over 118 fractures in my body, and the doctors could see the bone spurs, the chips off of the bone everywhere. And as a young person, I overcame a lot of that, most all of it. As I got older, it brought havoc on me. Every type of rare arthritis that's out there, as a result, it seems I got it. My parents would be arrested if they took me to the doctor, so I was left at home for these things to heal. Nerves grow around those bone spurs, and so they cannot be removed now. I have suffered as an adult pain that is indescribable. I have gout, a rare form of arthritis. I have T syndrome, a rare form of arthritis. I have kyphosis of the spine, which is hunchback, meaning my spine will decide to bend on its own involuntarily, and you can feel it as the bones are cracking. Multiple osteophytes, so when I sit up straight, the bones spurs to press on the nerves. And sometimes it will take me until about this time in the evening, between 6 p.m. and now, to be able to sit up or make it to the side of my bed to use a urinal. Now, I usually preface, let me say it now, this is a tale of triumph, not sadness. I today, as the grandfather and a father of two, can now go and visit my kids or hang out with them. And I've only been using these patches for 22 days. After 6 days, I walked 2 miles, something I hadn't been able to do in a decade and a half. On Thanksgiving, I visited my 36-year-old son. He is an adult with a disability, and it's the first time I could visit him on Thanksgiving in 11 years instead of sitting home crying. The pain would be so unimaginable at times that I literally would feel like I was passing out. All I could do was pray. Couldn't even tell you my name in those moments. And I've asked about assisted suicide and everything else because there wasn't much of a life there. It hurt all over, and it hurt terribly bad. Within 3 days, I felt very little pain at all. Almost none. At 6 days, I walked 2 miles from the Bronx into Manhattan, and I never had to sit down once. I never had to stop. I didn't think about it till I was walking over the overpass over the Major Deegan. I've been able to carry my own groceries now instead of having to order them. I've been able to carry gallons and gallons of things so much so I realized I need to chill out a little bit. I'm over there. Took the subway to see my son on Thursday. And I enjoy the fact here I am traveling to Brooklyn from the Bronx. I'm enjoying it. I didn't take a cab. I decided to walk a quarter mile from Utica Avenue to his home and do the same going back. Also, my brother, my big brother, Dallas Bell, who is a part of why these patches are in my life. He introduced me to Miss Paula Pierce, who sent me the patches, and Ms. Yvonne Landry, who also sent me patches and got me well in record amount of time. I'm on disability because I haven't been able to work since 1996 for the aforementioned reasons. But today, All I can do is thank God I can get up anytime I want. I can go without taking because they're PRN and they're opioid, and I can give my kidneys and my blood and my bones a break from the toxins of chemicals. I can offer them to take my neighbor's garbage out when I go out. When they had to take mine out, I keep it in the freezer because I couldn't get them out of here. And I didn't like asking. They had to get my mail. I'm offering to do these things and I'm doing them with ease. I haven't felt this good since I was a teenager. You mentioned your shoulder. I had a torn tendon in the right shoulder. Not only could I not sleep on that side, but I had such a hard time. I have a $3,800 guitar and I can't even pick it up at home. So I'm afraid it's going to fall and break. Now I can literally curl and lift weights. I'm doing it within moderation. And I'm going to continue doing the other things I've been doing. I'm not trying to replace these things, but I'm telling you now, it feels impossible. I didn't want to leave my children behind, but I didn't want to live in that constant moment of pain. I couldn't even go to the pharmacist to get my pain meds sometimes for 2 months because it hurt too much to go get them, ironically. Now I'm forgetting to take the pain medicines at times. So I just want you all to know, everything I do will always come from my spirit, from my soul. With every fabric of my being, my testimony is true to all of you. And I hope to touch some of you so you can understand, yes, I'm 54. I've been through it all. People in my position, we've tried everything. Everything. And you're afraid to set yourself up for disaster because you tried all the snake oil and everything else. The black seed oil and everything, sure, it helps you, but it ain't helped me with what I'm dealing with. These patches, the X39, are a gift from God. God works in mysterious ways. This is a mysterious way. I didn't have to understand it, but it has made me a new man with a new life. And I hope that you all will give it a try and bring it to others who are suffering. And God bless you all. Thank you for your time.
Wow, I hope you guys appreciated those testimonies. Again, the second one, the first time I heard it, literally brought me to tears when I heard all the things that the gentleman went through. And also the first gentleman, again, a vet, dealing with PTSD, dealing with pain and some other things. So that is just two of thousands, literally thousands of testimonies from not just people who used to pass, from doctors. There's some doctors who literally left their practice because of the results that their patients are getting and actually are doing this as a full-time business. So for those of you, again, who are interested in the second part of the presentation, I'm going to ask if you can remain on mute as I am recording this session. So please remain on mute. Again, I'm going to ask you to put your business hat on. If you would look at a business, what are some of the things that you would want to know about whether or not it's a great business for you? I'm going to share those things with you as I go through the presentation. First and foremost, you want to talk about company growth. This company got started in 19 years. Actually, this is their 20th year. They got in 2023, they went from $20 million for the first 15 or 16 years to over $320 million last year. And at the end of 2024, 23, I should say, they actually grew to over $400 million. They opened in over 75 countries. And the thing that really got my attention was it's not a Me Too product. And what do I mean by that? There are a lot of companies out there, good companies as well, with good products. Some of them have weight loss products. Some have skincare. They have supplements. Again, it's not that these companies don't have good products. It's that there are so many of them out there that, again, the competition is fierce. Again, you can buy a lot of these things online, on Amazon, you can get at Walmart, you can get at Walgreens. You can even buy supplements at your local gas station and vitamins and all those things. So again, it's really tough and the market is tough. But if you have a unique product, and I call it the Airbnb of this industry, you are in a position to create wealth for yourself and your family. So that's one of the first things you want to look at is what is the company's growth? The company's growth is so successful that if you look at this chart on LiveWave, you see that that chart is going at a 45-degree angle. And if you understand growth, that means it's growing at a tremendous pace. At some point, that line is going to be almost vertical, which means you're at the right place at the right time with the right company. In fact, LiveWave is now ranked the #1 ranked company for momentum by businessforhome.org. Businessforhome.org is a company that actually evaluates direct sales and network marketing and ML companies, and it evaluates their growth. It evaluates their leadership, all the things that you would want to know about a company, and we're the number one, not just in the US, but in the world when it comes to momentum. So that means you're at the right place at the right time. Not only you're in the right company, but we are part of a team called This Is It Team. This Is It Team, again, was developed almost 2.5 years ago by Steve and Gina Merritt. They are created this team, and as a result of their success and what's been happening with the company, that blue line represents the growth of the This Is It Team. The green line represents the growth of the company. So as you can see, the team is outperforming the company. So not only you have an opportunity to be in the number one company in the world, you have an opportunity to be part of the number one team and the number one company in the world with This Is It Team. This is actually one of the conferences that was held. Now, keep in mind, this is not a company event. This is a team event. And this is It Team. They had an event in Florida. Again, this is where David Schmidt talked about and it described the patches. Again, so this team played a big role in making March of this year, the number one biggest sales month ever in the 20-year history of LiveWave. The company received several awards. They received the number one growth company award, as I mentioned, by Direct Sales Network. Again, and it's called the Global Bravo Awards. And that, what you see is some of the executive staff receiving an award. They've also received other awards as well. Now, what is most important to you in your life? Again, we talked about the first part of the presentation, really talked about your health. But I say we talked about your wealth because your health is your wealth. If you had a choice of either having your health or your wealth, I'm sure most of you would choose your health, because what good is it to have 100 million, thousands of billions of dollars if you have a failing health? You can't even enjoy it. So health is very important. In fact, your health is your wealth. But again, what's important to you in life? Is it time freedom? Is it money? Is it security? Is it travel? Is it better health? Is it less debt? And when I started this presentation, I showed you the first slide, and this is where I should have put it, because these are all the things that are important to me, and these are the things that should be important to you. So if you're looking for an opportunity to maybe generate an extra few dollars a month, maybe you look for an opportunity to eventually phase out of a job, or if you just want to help people and have success at the same time, you have that opportunity here with LiveWave. Let's talk about how you get compensated. The company compensates you in 4 different ways. I'm only going to cover 2 because, again, if up to this point, if it makes sense to you, you'll get started. We'll train you. We'll teach you everything you need to know to have success. We have what's called a binary commission, where you have a left team and a right team. That means you have a left side and a right side. And what you do is you need to have 2 people on your left and 2 people on your right who come in at what's called a brand partner at what's called a silver level or above, and you will become a manager. Now, our goal is to get you the manager. And all we do is not only help you get the manager, is you help those 4 people get the manager. And then they help their 4 people get the manager. So it's a structure that helps each other. Now, if you build the team and you get to the manager position, you have an opportunity to earn up to $25,000 per week just from this one form of payment. Let me say that again. You can make up to $25,000 per week by building a binary if you know 4 people who are interested in changing their lives. And you do that by simply inviting them to one of these Zooms like we have here. We have them several times a week. They see the information, they get started, and we train them and show them how to do this. Now, the only thing better than getting what you call up to $25,000 per week is getting what we call unlimited income potential. And that is in our matching bonus. So the way the matching bonus works is anybody that you personally enroll, they're on your first level, your first generation. And whatever commission they earn, if you're at a position of manager or above, guess what? You're going to earn a 25% matching bonus. Let's do an example. Let's say you introduce me to LiveWave. I get started. I have a good week and I earn $1,000 this week. And guess what? You earn $250 because of the efforts of what I did, even though I did the work, but you introduced me to the business. Now, let's say I introduce someone as well. Now, that person is on your second generation. You're going to earn a 20% match on what they earn if you're a manager above. And then let's say that person goes out and now enrolls someone, that it creates your third level of third generation, you get another 20%. So what if you had 10 people that you personally enrolled that had $1,000 a week, and you multiply 250 by 10, that's how much you would earn that week as a matching bonus. So just do the math again. The more people you introduce, the better off you are. But again, they're going to introduce some people that you don't know, that you may never meet, and may never live in a different state or country. But guess what? You're going to get compensated on the efforts of all those people. And that is why binary is important, because whoever gets started tonight, guess what? Whoever gets started the day after that could potentially be on your left or your right side, and you will benefit from everything they do, because the way the binary works is the volume that's accumulated on the left and right counts towards your binary bonus. Now, to get started, there's 3 positions that you can get started. We recommend is silver, gold, or diamond. Now, when you get started, you want to get started with a sleeve, and the sleeve is basically a 1-month supply of patches. This is what a sleeve looks like. It has 30 patches. It is retail. It costs $149.95. But again, if you want to benefit from the price, you can get a 30% discount by getting started as a brand or referring partner. Again, if you get started at silver is $299.95 to get started. You're going to have a 90-day supply, which is 3 sleeves, which you're going to need anyway, because again, if you're building a business, you need one for yourself, you need one for your partner, and you need to have samples. One of the best ways to introduce and share this opportunity is to give people some samples, let them experience it for themselves, and guess what? You're going to attract and get a lot of new partners. If you're more of a business-minded person, you get started at gold. You'll have 5 packs of 5 months of supply, which is a gold pack. And then if you're a serious business builder, you can get started at diamond. And that diamond, the benefit of getting started as diamond is, instead of getting a sleeve at $99 per sleeve, you get it at $84 per sleeve, because you're getting a discount, because you're getting 19 sleeves. And believe me, when you start to build and share with people, those 19 sleeves will go fast. But again, if you're a business builder, you want to think about inventory. Anytime you build a business, if you had a McDonald's, you wouldn't start a McDonald's and wait till somebody placed an order to order buns, fries, and burgers. You would want to have them on hand. So if you're a business thinking person, you want to have that in hand. Again, the other thing, and it's important to do, is you want to be on a monthly subscription of the X39. At a minimum, you have to have at least 1 sleeve subscription, which is $99 per month, which you need for yourself anyway. And that will keep all your points. They will accumulate. Again, so remember, anytime you get started, anybody gets started after you on your left or right, those people will be accumulating and adding to your volume. That means it's like a savings account for you. That is just a matter of you doing the work to go ahead and collect on all those volume. Now, if you want to maximize the compensation plan, you want to have at least 2 sleeves in place, because again, now that's one of the requirements to be a manager. And again, if you have 1 sleeve in place, all you can earn is $100 per week. However, if you get a 2 sleeve subscription, you can maximize the compensation plan, and that goes to a tremendous amount of volume that you accumulate. Again, but any question that you have about the compensation, join us on any of our training calls, which we have twice a week. We have a website that has all the information there as well. Again, some of the benefits of being a member is we have free trips. There's a free trip coming up. I think it's November, and the way to participate is simply by doing the work that everybody does, just by sharing this opportunity, others getting points, and as you accumulate those points, you will qualify to go to Punta Cana. This is just one of the many trips that the company offers, but also our team also offers trips. Some people just came back from Greece. That was a company sponsored trip. So there's a lot of opportunity and things you can benefit from being part of this tremendous team. There's some events coming up over the next couple of weeks. And if you want to see where they are, and also if you want to get on any of our calls, you can go to thisisitteam.com. And on that site, you will see a schedule of our calls. Again, those calls, again, if you see here, every day of the week, sometimes we have 1, sometimes we have 2 calls, sometimes there's 3 calls a day. There's another call tonight at 10 p.m. If you're interested in hearing again, and maybe sharing with people in the West Coast, get back to the person that invited you. They will provide you with the details of that call, which starts at 10 o'clock p.m. tonight. Again, in addition to that, we have calls in between the ones that we normally schedule. So pretty much there's calls every day, and there's trainings every day for you to take advantage of it. Again, go to This Is the Team for the details. Again, there's some events coming up. There's an event in Chicago. You know anyone in Chicago? There's an event on Saturday, August 31st. There's probably an event this weekend. I don't have the details of it, but there are more live events that are starting to happen around the country as the company starts to grow. September 5th, there's a big event in Richmond, Virginia. September 7th, there's another one in Detroit. And here is another big event. There is a regional training in Atlanta on September the 21st. It's $25 for registration, early bird registration. Again, this is going to be a phenomenal event. It's going to feature some of the key leaders in LiveWave, including Ken and Lynn Robinson. They're elite senior presidential director. Senior presidential director is the top position in the company. They are elite senior presidential director. There's also Verdita and Harvey Monk. There are senior presidential directors. There's some phenomenal trainers going to be there, including presidential director Reggie Stewart. Executive Director is Juanita Kraft, Executive Director is Ron Robertson. You may not know these individuals, but these individuals are successful, phenomenal individuals and great leaders. They're going to spend 2 days in Atlanta training and sharing some tremendous opportunities. So for those of you who are interested, get back to the person who invited you so that you can get your ticket and get to that event. And before I close out the meeting, I want to thank everybody for their time. Again, those of you who are used to getting on at the Erica McQueen has a 9 o'clock huddle call. She is traveling, so she will not have that call tonight. But again, for those of you who want more information and want to hear it again, get back to the person who invited you and get on at 10 o'clock. Now, I just like to close with the quote that I like to share with people, and I want you to take this to heart. Withhold not good from those to hit it who it is due when it's in the power of thine hand to do so. Let me repeat that. Give me a second. Somebody's off beat. Withhold not good from those who it is due when it's in the power of thine hand to do so. What do I mean by that? You have just been shared with some information that is life-changing, literally life-changing. Again, and wouldn't it be great to share with people that you know? How many people that you know that are in pain? How many people that you know that have trouble sleeping? How many people that you know that are dealing with grief after the death of a loved one? How many people that you know have autistic people with children with autism or autistic themselves? These are some of the things that we're seeing tremendous results with. So you have an opportunity to change that person's life by just sharing this information. Whether you see it as a business or not, the most important thing is that you see the opportunity to heal and transform people's lives by improving their stem cells. So withhold not good from them to what is due. Those to whom it is due is those that are in our circle. That's your family member, your loved ones, your neighbors, the people that you care about. Those are people who are due this information. So withhold it not from them because they deserve it. And with that, I want to thank you all for your time, your patience. Get back to the person that invited you. I'm part of the This Is It team, the #1 team in the country, the #1 team in the world, and the #1 company in the world. And you have an opportunity to join us as we all go to the top.